Okay, so welcome everyone to Tourism and Events Queensland's latest webinar, Unpacking Google Adwords for Tourism. I hope you'll find this interesting and informative, and let's kick off. So I just wanted to show you this link first, the Google Business Channel, before we actually get started in the webinar. I do find that Google on YouTube has a great business channel with lots and lots of very helpful short videos on how to do things. If you're not familiar with AdWords at all, they have some really good introductory videos, which unfortunately I can't play you on this webinar because the webinar doesn't transmit the GoToMeeting doesn't transmit webinars very well. But if you want to know more at any time, do please have a look at the Google Business Channel on YouTube. You can just Google it. And so have a look at some of, they've got hundreds and hundreds of how-to kind of videos, really worth a look. Okay, so today we're talking about paid search. Search engine marketing, paid search, cost per click, PPC, they're all interchangeable terms for what I'm going to call paid search today, or AdWords. And just so we're all clear, we're talking about the part that appears at the top of a search results page. So someone's going to search for Flight Brisbane Cairns. We've got all these search results here. These are paid, okay? You can see because it's shaded and there's little ads word here, whereas these are what we call organic. These are nominally free. People haven't paid to get to here, although they've probably done a whole lot of other things. Same here. It's shaded. It's at the right. So it appears at the top of the page and sometimes down the right-hand side as well. And you can check because you can see the word ads, and it's normally a little bit of a different colour. Excuse my voice today, sorry. On a phone, same thing. It just appears at the top, obviously, because a phone screen, if you're searching on your phone, is different. But you can see the little word ads here, so you know that this is actually being paid for. Someone has actually paid money to get up the top here. So that's what we're talking about today. How do you get up here, and how do you get people to click? Okay, so why do search engine marketing? What are the benefits of search engine marketing? Well, firstly, it's very cost effective. You only pay a predefined amount when someone clicks on your ad. So if someone sees your ad, you don't pay. You only pay when they click. Oh, question. Am I showing slides? Can only see the first page. Yes, I am showing slides. Sometimes there is a bit of a lag, I'm afraid, and I'm really sorry, but there isn't much I can do about that. We are recording today's session, and you can view the whole thing on YouTube. Hopefully we'll be able to publish that this afternoon. So if you can't keep up, or the slides aren't keeping up with my commentary, I'm sorry about that, but I'll try and go a bit slower, but it's more to do with how you're receiving the images from GoToMeeting. But you can view the whole thing on YouTube at your leisure if you can't kind of keep up today, so my apologies for that. Okay, so paid traffic, what are the benefits? Cost effective, you only pay a predefined amount. It's free for someone to look. You only actually pay when someone clicks on your ad, so if they see it, you don't have to pay. So ads are displayed for free. Also, you set your budget limit, and Google will never charge you more than that, and it can be as small as $10. So rather than paying for a print ad or paying quite a lot for TV or any other form, you can set the budget, you control how much you pay. Google never charges you more than that, and it can be as small as $10 or $20. It's also immediate. So as soon as you press OK, your ad is live, which means if you can be very responsive. So if something's happening in the media, or you've got a good press story out there, or something else is happening, you can quickly take advantage of that by launching your ad quickly. You can also make changes anytime, 24/7, in response to what's happening with your ad. So if it's working really well, perhaps you could add more budget to it. If it's not working at all, you could take it down, change your keywords, change your ad wording, change links, all sorts of things. So it's very immediate. It's very flexible. You can set it up. You can leave it running as long as you like. You can pause it whenever you like. You can restart it whenever you like. You can alter it. You can cancel it. You're in control, and it's a very flexible form of advertising, which means you can be very responsive to what's going on. And tracking. So tracking is one of the reasons why I love digital so much. You can track how effective your ads were. You can track how many times they were shown, how many people clicked, and of those people who clicked and saw your ad, how many people actually bought something, or did what you wanted them to. And because you can track everything, you can then make conclusions drawn from the tracking data, like that worked or that didn't work, and then you can make your ad campaign more effective by doing more of what works and less of what doesn't. So tracking is a great benefit of paid traffic as well. But before you start on your AdWords campaign, it's good to give a little thought to what actually are you wanting to advertise here. Are you wanting to advertise, for example, just deals and offers? And all of these are fine. It just depends on what your objectives are in your advertising campaign. So why are we doing this? Have we got a deal in market that we want to give a little bit of a push to? Have we got a special offer that we want to try and get new customers for? So a specific deal or a specific offer. Alternatively, have we got a new product, for example, a specific product that we're wanting to make people aware of? Is it a renovated room or a new tour or a new addition to your menu, or depending on what your business is there a specific product you want to advertise? You can also do that. Or are we just wanting to raise general awareness of our business and what we do? So before you start your AdWords, sit down and think, why am I doing this? Is it to get 20% more sales, in which case it might be a deal or offer or a specific product? Is it just to get more awareness of my product? Am I new? Am I starting up? What are we trying to achieve? What are our objectives? Because this may influence what kind of network you choose, because Google gives you two options. There is a display network or a search network, or both. So the search network, if you choose search network, your ad will appear on a search engine results page here. So it's directly related to somebody typing in a search term. So your ad appears right when someone's looking for you, if you've chosen your keywords correctly. Okay, so that search. Display network is different. Your ad will appear on a web page or a blog or another non-search related page. So it doesn't come up on a search engine results page. It comes up on someone's website or their blog, not search engines. So for example, this person has made himself available to receive Google ads on his blog. He's driving a lot of traffic, and you can see this is about coffee, and this is a little section of ads about coffee called Ad Choices. So this is much less targeted in a way than this. This is specifically someone's gone specifically looking for you, they've typed in these terms, you come up. This one, someone's just reading about coffee, and they may or may not see this, and they haven't gone with a specific query in mind, they're just reading this and finding information. So it's a really good idea to think, do I want search, do I want display, do I want both? Display is great for kind of reach and frequency, getting to places you wouldn't normally get, but it doesn't display you on a search engine results page. Display is also quite heavy on your budget, so if you are on a limited budget, perhaps you might like to stick to this or experiment with this and see how quickly your budget gets used up. So that's the first question. Am I going for display? Am I going for search? Or am I going for both? How does it work in terms of the mechanics? In case we're not familiar with our AdWords, you create a campaign. So you set up a campaign. Then the ads appear on a search engine or in a display network. There's the ad there. Theoretically, the user clicks somewhere here and gets to your website, and then hopefully they buy something, and that's how it all works. Create a campaign, your ad appears, user clicks, and then a purchase is made. And so how do we get started? So these are the steps in getting started in AdWords. Firstly, we need to set up an account, what's called an AdWords account. Then choose the keywords for this campaign. Then create your AdWords campaign. Set your budget, write your ads, run your campaign, evaluate. And of course, as with most things in digital, rinse and repeat. Once you've sent your ad live, you can have a look at how it's going, get the tracking data that you've got to see what's working and what's not, and you can adjust your budget up or down. You can start with a tiny amount of budget, for example, and if it's really working, then you can put more budget to it. You can delete and add keywords if some are not performing, or if some are, you want to add more of the same. You can turn off non-performing ads. You can write new ads. You can measure and improve, rinse and repeat. And really, it's all cyclic, and you can spend as much or as little time on this as you want. Obviously, the more time you want, the better. Another question. Nope, had a question icon. Oh no, haven't got one. Okay. Okay. Yep, so just go round and round and spend as much time as you like on this, improving, measuring all the time. Okay, so setting up an AdWords account, what's involved in that? Well, if you have a Gmail account already, you can use that. So you might have a Gmail account and you can just use that to create your AdWords account. If you don't, then I'd recommend that you set one up. It's also a good idea, if you have Google Analytics on your website, to use the same Gmail account that you used for analytics, and the reason for that is that you can kind of join up the measurement of your AdWords campaign with the measurement of your site traffic, and that will tell you from the first time someone sees your ad to clicking on it to coming to your site to going through your site to actually buying something. That will give you a seamless measurement of how successful your ads are in attracting people and in the final wash up, which is, you know, buying something. So it's good to use your Google Analytics account if you can, or at least link them up. Google+, YouTube, Google Places, Google Drive, any other Google products that you have, it's probably a good idea to try and keep them to the same Gmail address or the same Google account, because that way you can link all of the measurement from all of your accounts and see what's really working for you and what isn't. So anyway, we created a Google account, which is a Gmail. And then the second step, once we've set up our account, we choose keywords and we create our AdWords campaign. Now, keywords are very, very important, because ideally what you want to do is these are the elements that will be tied to your ad appearing. When someone types a keyword into Google, if you've nominated that list of that keyword in your list, theoretically, all things being equal, your ad will come up. And if you haven't nominated the keyword people are typing in, then you won't appear. So obviously you want to spend a bit of time choosing keywords that people are likely to type in to make sure that you've got the best chance of coming up when someone does a search. And at the same time you can create your AdWords campaign. So let's have a little look at choosing keywords first and creating a campaign. And where I would start is with creating a keyword list for your campaign. This is what you're hoping or thinking people will type into Google to find you. So the first thing I would do, what do you know about your customers and your customer base? You know a fair bit about them because you probably talk to them on the phone or greet them at reception or whatever. So I would start just by writing down all the keywords you think that you have in your mind, that you think or you know that your customers will use to find you. So if you're a hotel, you might, or motel, you might be writing down accommodation, and if you're in Kingaroy, you might write down Kingaroy accommodation, for example. If you're 4-star, you might write down 4-star. If you're a restaurant serving a particular type of food, like Italian restaurant, you might like to write down Italian restaurant Harvey Bay, Italian pizza restaurant, any words and search terms you think your customer base will type into Google to find you. So start with that list, just write it all down. Another really good place to look, if you're not sure where to start, if you have Google Analytics on your website, it has a report that says referring keywords. So just have a look at what keywords are referring traffic to your site and write them down and try and create a bit of a list of maybe 15 to 20 words. There are also some really great Google tools that you can use. Google Search Suggestions, first of all, so I'll just show you that. I've just typed in, say for example, I typed in rain, and immediately you can see Google is starting to suggest terms to me, so rainbow beach, rainbow, rain and horn, rain meter. If I keep going and type what I was planning on typing, I get rainforest, maths, rainforest animals, rainforest retreat. These might or might not be relevant to you. If I start typing in T, I get rainforest tours. And you can see if I do a rainforest tour, immediately some destinations will start to come. Now all this data is based on popular searches from Google. So this is the first thing that you can do. This wouldn't be the only thing I would recommend you do, but it's a good place to start if you're not sure where to start. Type in relevant words up here and just see what is being suggested and see if any of these might be relevant to you that you could write down as your starting keywords. So if you run a rainforest to a company in Cairns, Port Douglas, here are 2 search terms to you already that you can get to start with. So this very simple tool, just type something into the Google search box related to your product, can start to suggest keywords to you. What else have I got in my list? Oh yeah, the AdWords Keyword Planner and Google Trends. Let's have a look at Google Trends. Okay, so this is called Google Trends. It used to be called Google Insights for Search, but being Google, they've changed it because I can. So this will show you, this is drawn from Google searches over time. So you can type in, I've typed in weddings here just for fun. They've got you over time. All of the search terms containing the word weddings that have been typed into Google. Now you can specify 2004 to the present. So since 2004, this is how many search terms have been typed into Google for the parameters that I put in here. I've said worldwide. Let's go a bit more local. Let's go Australia. Where are we? Okay, and it's immediately going to change because the regional interest changed. You can see there are some spikes for the word weddings. I wonder if that's because people get engaged on New Year's Eve. Who knows? But that can tell you if every January there's a spike here, perhaps you should be mounting a campaign with the keyword weddings in it every January because that's a good time because people are looking. Other stuff it can tell you, apparently most people get married in Queensland. Not it's to you, like Weddings Australia, beach weddings. If any of these are relevant to you, wedding dresses, island wedding, fall weddings, easy weddings. So you could start to add these to your keyword list as well. You can also do things like compare. If you're not sure whether to choose, for example, wedding or honeymoon, you can type in the both and see which one has the greatest number of searches. As you'd probably expect, it's Google Trends. Are there times of the year when I should be right up there advertising, spending my budget? I wouldn't be doing it in December 2008, but January looks good for both weddings and honeymoons. Which terms should I use? Should I restrict my campaign and not bother with the Northern Territory, because apparently no one searches for the word honeymoon in the Northern Territory since 2004. Yeah, but New South Wales, definitely. Yeah, should I choose both? Probably. Is it giving me suggested search terms? Yes. So I would be typing in a couple of search terms here and just see what you can find. See if there's times you should be doing it. See if there's enough volume. Is there enough searches? Should you bother with this one? If it's right down the bottom here, flatlining, maybe not. So Google Trends is a really useful little tool to help you get started on your list of keywords to choose. What else do we have? Oh yeah, Google Adwords Keyword Planner. So this has just changed. Kind of didn't know they were going to do it quite so quickly, but the upshot of it is it's kind of the same as it always was. So if you're used to using AdWords or you're not familiar with it, don't panic. Just go to adwords.google.com, or you can just type in AdWords keyword tool into a Google search and it will come up. And you want tools and analysis, and then what do we want to do? Search for keyword and ad group ideas. So I want to find keywords related to cheap flights, for example. And let's just you can change all these, but let's leave them at the moment, and I'll go get ideas. And you can see that it is, I can't adjust that with, no. Okay, you can see that it has come up with a whole bunch of suggested search terms that I might want to consider adding. That will determine whether your ad comes up or not, if it's matching what someone's typing in. So you want to spend a little bit of time doing some research on what keywords you think you should get started with. And the thing that this keyword tool does is it automatically groups them into ad groups. So I'll explain about AdWords in a minute, but it's grouped them for me into a similar group. So cheap flights Australia, cheap flights to LA, cheap flights, cheap Europe, etc. If you're a bit overwhelmed by that, you can just go straight to this tab, keyword ideas, and it's just given me just the words, which might be easier to start with, but it's up to you. And the other thing you'll notice that it's shown me is average monthly searches, so how many average monthly searches there are, how many other people might be buying this word. If it's high competition, it's likely to be moderately expensive. If it's low, not so much, but probably have lower search volumes as well. And you can see that it's also giving me the average cost per click, how much at the moment most companies are paying to get a click for the word cheap flights to UK, $3.43, quite expensive, as opposed to cheap flights to Sydney, 87 cents. So already you can see there's a lot of really good data here. Once you've started with, once you've narrowed down your list a bit, come here and just test the keywords that you're thinking of buying and see how much you're going to pay. Is there enough volume? Cheap flights international, I wouldn't probably, not so much. $1.09 for not very much traffic. So what you want obviously is the highest here and the lowest here. And again, so it's up to you what you want to do, and there's no right or wrong answer and there's no absolutes, but at least this does give you a place to start. So those are some useful tools that you can use when you're researching your keyword list. As you go, and once you might have settled on your list and sent your ads live and sent your campaign live and everything else, as you go, obviously track and refine and see which keywords are driving lots of traffic. Keep them, try and do more of the same. Keywords that are not driving very much traffic, you can delete from your list, obviously. Okay. Yep. So I put this in last week when I was preparing this to let you know that Google Keyword Planner was going to change, and this morning it has. So there we go. But as you saw, it's not that difficult to use. You type in a word you're thinking of, it comes up with suggestions. You have a look at how many people search that and how much you could be expected to pay and decide if you want to use it or not. So not too hard. Some tips when you're choosing your keywords: choose them carefully. As I've said, it's really important that you choose ones that obviously are going to come up in Google and people are going to type in. As you go, track and refine your choice. So choose more of the ones that are sending a lot of traffic and drop ones that aren't. Really, really important when you're setting up what's called your campaign and your ad groups, don't be tempted to have too many keywords. Because it's free and because it's easy, people are I've seen people be tempted to have hundreds and hundreds of keywords, but really you want to keep it as tight and as targeted as possible. You can have plenty of ad groups in each campaign and plenty of different ads, but 3 or 4 keywords or phrases for each ad group is plenty. So what do I mean by an ad group? Okay, I've got my list of 15 or 20 keywords and I'm going to divide them into groups of similar words. So I've got one called hot air balloon, is my first ad group, and the keywords are going to be hot air balloon cans, air balloon. I've got an ad group called balloon ride, and the keywords are going to be balloon ride balloon ride near Cairns, cheap balloon ride. Gift certificate, ballooning gift certificate, buy balloon gift certificate, and balloon adventure is my last one, and the keywords are going to be balloon adventure, adventure in a balloon, hot air balloon adventure. So you can see I've only got 3, this one's got 4, and they're very, very related to each other, and I haven't got ballooning gift certificate in hot air balloon cans. Okay, so I've been very, very targeted, very, very careful to have keywords that are very closely related to each other. I haven't got general hot air balloon in balloon adventure. Can you see how the words balloon adventure, adventure in a balloon, hot air balloon adventure, they're all very similar, and this takes a bit of practice, and you need to kind of really focus on the detail here, and you can go round and round, tie yourself up in knots, but the reason why I'm showing you this is to say you can have as many ad groups as you like. Each one of these ad groups will have a couple of keywords, and then you can have as many ads for each group as you like, depending on your time. It doesn't cost you any more, but the more targeted and the more similar you can get your keywords to be for each ad group, the more likely you are to succeed. Okay, so it's really important to understand this. It's probably the central success factor for mounting a good AdWords campaign. A few keywords, highly targeted. Okay. Okay, so tips for keywords. Yeah. So we've set up our account with Gmail or Analytics. We've chosen our keywords. We've pressed the button that says Create New Campaign, which is very easy to follow when you get onto to Google. And we've decided what we're going to spend every day. It might be $20 a week or $200 a week or $10 a day. I would start small and track and see how you go. I wouldn't blow on my budget all at once. The beauty of digital is you can put a little bit of money on your best guess, if you like, send it out there, see what happens, see if it performs. If it's working, put a bit more, or put, maybe half your budget. If it's not, you haven't wasted too much money. So the beauty of this is you can set a little budget to start with, make the best guess you can with your keywords, write the best ads you can, and then just track it and see if it's working. And if it's not working, then you can try something else. If it is working, you can put more budget to it. Okay, write your ads, run your campaign, and evaluate. So writing ads, what makes a successful ad? Good ad, if you're writing a good ad, you'll pay less. So spend some time on your ads as well as choosing your keywords. Good copy can increase the number of clicks your ad relative to the number of times the ad is shown. So ad is shown 100,000 times, you might get 50,000 clicks. That's called your click-through rate. Okay? A high click-through rate is stronger on Google. The stronger the click-through rate, or the higher the click-through rate, the lower your bid needs to be to reach the higher ad positions. So if you're not already aware of this, AdWords works in kind of an auction model. Someone clicks, and all the companies that have types in a search term to Google, and all the companies that have nominated that keyword kind of compete with each other in a split second behind the scenes, and whoever wins the auction, their ad gets displayed. But how much you pay is determined in that split second, so there's never a fixed cost. So the higher click-through rate, the less you will pay, the lower your bid needs to be to reach the higher ad positions. So try and write ads that will get clicks relative to the number of times it's shown. The text in your ad is the first trigger for potential customers, and you're limited by how much you can say, so really spend a little bit of time on the wording too, and I'll give you some tips for that in a sec. It's 95% common sense. Think to yourself, what's my customer going to respond to? What are they going to want to see? What are they going to click on? Is it an offer? Is it compelling wording? Have I wasted a word in there? Can I take it out? The other thing is that every ad, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, if you haven't done an AdWords campaign before, you must submit your ads to Google to be approved, and normally that takes, I think, 24 hours, no more, usually less. But you have to submit it to Google to be approved, and they have a content policy, and also your URLs must match. When you're writing the ad, there's a lot of information and help on how to write an ad that Google will approve. It's not that difficult. It's just to make you aware that Google must look at and approve your ad, and if the URLs don't match, if it doesn't adhere to Google's content policy, then you will need to write it again, just so you're aware of that. But it's not hard to do. And as I've said, writing an ad, you can track it, you can measure it. If an ad is not performing, just turn it off and write a new one and send that live and see how that goes. So let's have a look at a very simple ad. Now there are many different types of ads nowadays, so I'll just start with a very simple one. Here's one that I've just got for Sunshine Coast Hotels, and the search term I typed in was Sunshine Coast Accommodation. And the first thing to notice is the headline. Now we have 25 characters here limit, so you only have 25 letters and spaces to get your message across. So it needs to create awareness and interest and match keywords. So the keyword behind this ad is Sunshine Coast Accommodation. You can see it's a pretty good match. Google will automatically match words like that. Sunshine Coast Hotels. This is a link. This is not a link. This is a link. This is not a link. Okay, so this is where you want people to click. Okay, so make it something that they will want to click on, if that makes sense. This just gives the brand basically, and it's good to put keywords in here. This is what's called your display URL. This is a destination URL. This is a display. This is not a link. You can put anything in here after here that you like. I would be putting keywords in here because look, they're bold, and so that will help people to look at your ad. It's a visual cue to say yes, this ad is about what you searched. So yeah, I would put keywords here. Yeah, display URL. Again, 35 characters, not a link. It must match the domain here. So this domain here must match the link here, but after here it doesn't have to match, and you can put whatever you like. So I'd put some keywords in here. Your body text, you've got 2 lines of 35 characters each, and the idea is to get the users to click, so make it strong. Have a strong call to action in there. Book, direct and save, for example. Book today, book now, book and save, you know, whatever, you know, how to write calls to action, whatever you want people to do, make sure it's strong and make it relevant to the search words the user type. So again, I've got hotels in here, you could have accommodation in here, you could have Sunshine Coast, etc. So that's your basic ad, and then I've got an extension here which is a phone number and the address and a link to getting directions. Now there are many other extensions we can use, but you know this one has chosen to have their address and a phone number in there as well. So key takeaways from this one: Your headline must create awareness and interest. You've only got 25 characters to do it in. It's a link. This is not a link, but this must match this link, and you can put keywords here. You've got 2 lines of 35 characters each here, so again, you need to be economical with your words, compelling, have a strong call to action, and it's possible to put extensions in nowadays as well, things like addresses and phone numbers. But look at your ads each time and think, is that interesting? Is it going to grab people's attention? Because you're competing with everything else on the page, the search results, everybody else's ad, etc. So just write a few. I would write a couple of ads and think, which one's most compelling? Can I change any words? Spend a bit of time looking at it, thinking, have I wasted any words? Is there too much in there? Is there not enough? Do people know what this is about? Is it clear? Is it compelling? Okay, so I've been talking about extensions a little bit. Here are some examples of extensions. Gold Coast Accommodation Booking.com, we've got a rating in here. Strong call to action here again with keywords in it, accommodation, Gold Coast, accommodation, Gold Coast. Booking.com's best price guaranteed. This is a +1 extension. Somebody has more than 1 million people have +1 or follow Booking.com on Google+, and deep links into the website. This one has something different again. I've just shown this one too. So this one has an address and a phone number and a link to directions. This one is selling a specific product, gift vouchers for a hot air balloon, flights on the Gold Coast, buy now, there's our call to action. This one has pricing information, accommodation from 29, book now and save, Flight Centre owned and operated, raising awareness again. So remember I said very early on, think about what you're trying to do. Are we trying to sell a product? Are we trying to announce a new product? Are we trying to get more sales? Are we trying to just raise awareness? And the wording of the ads will be determined by what you're trying to achieve here. So once you've decided what you're trying to achieve, write your ads so that you will achieve that and make them as compelling as possible. A couple more extensions here. If you're doing mobile and Google gives you the option to choose whether you want your ads to appear on a desktop or a mobile device, obviously if someone's searching on their phone, it's a logical step for them to quickly call you. So you might want to add what's called a phone number and call button extension in here. So Flight Centre here has chosen, it has ticked the box that said phone number, put a phone number in, and someone can just do a search on Google for Flight Brisbane Cairns, Flight Centre comes up, immediately they can call them, make a sale, very easy. Great for a mobile phone. Site links, so I've got international specials, I've got links deeply into the site here. Location extensions, I don't think I've got an example here, but as we saw earlier, you can put your address, which if you're a local business and you know that people kind of lob to the town and kind of look for somewhere to stay in the location, you might want to put your address in so people can see that you're close by. Product, offer, you can put an offer in there. So here's an example of an offer. There are many, many more that you can do. So you can put your phone number and a call button, you can put site links, you can put your address, your location, you can put a specific product in there, you can put a specific offer in there. These are all extensions to the basic ad that you might want to buy. They cost a little bit, but again, you can maybe nominate a few of them and just see if they work or not. If they're not working, take them out. So you would do your basic ad, add in any of these extensions that you think might work, and track them. When you're choosing extensions, obviously, it's really good to think to yourself, how does my user behave? How does my customer behave? Are they at home? Are they normally on a desktop? Are they on the go? Are they walking down the street of my town already and haven't booked anything? Are they last-minute bookers? Are they people that like to book well in advance? If you can think about that a little bit, that will help you to decide what extensions are going to be most logical and most appropriate for you and your market. Okay, so that's how to write an ads. As I've said, good ad equals lower costs, higher click-through rate, stronger on Google, so you want to write an ad that people are going to click through on. But that isn't the only thing we want them to do. I want to talk now a little bit about where you're going to send them. If you send them to a lot of operators that I see do send users or customers, potential customers from Google Adwords, the click-through, and they send them to their site homepage. Now, if you can avoid this, and I realise that some of you don't always have control over, what you can update and things on your site. If you can avoid this, I wouldn't do that because there's too much else going on a home page for them to, if you've advertised a special or an offer or something, there's too much going on a home page for them to find it. There's navigation and there's hero images and there's, latest news and Facebook feeds and social share buttons, all sorts of things. So it's better if you can manage it, if you can send people to what we call a landing page, which is an internal page in your site that is specifically set up to make a sale. And the more relevant your landing page is, it's just like a normal internal page on your site, but you would be putting keywords in the copy, in the words on the landing page that match the keywords in the ad. The more relevant your landing page can be to your ad, the higher what we call your quality score, and you'll pay less. So let's have a little look at that. So a home page, the purpose of a homepage is not necessarily to make a sale. It tells people they're in the right place if they've come through from Google, tells you what else is in the site, offers something new. It's not really meant for conversion. It's meant to entice the reader further into your site. By contrast, a landing page should be, if you can do it, drive traffic to from your ad, and also if you're doing emails or social media or anything else, send them to a landing page because the specific purpose of it is to convert the visitor to a sale. So this, for example, is a home page for Oasis at Palm Cove, and although they do have an offer here, the specific purpose is not to convert. It's to show people where they are, it's to welcome people, tell them they're in the right place. Here's the logo, here's the accommodation, here's your tagline, here's a beautiful image. Yes, this is the website for Oasis. Maybe do some search stuff here, but it's more of a welcome message. And while we do have this, we're not reliant on it as being the only place people can book. By contrast, the landing page, specific purpose of this is to convert, to get the sale. There's no navigation, there's nothing to distract people, there's a beautiful image, there's a price, let's get that out of the way, there's the deals. There's no welcome message, there's no navigation, there's nothing to distract the user from applying for a timeshare. Here's another different example. This is another landing page. Again, no navigation. It's got a headline, luxurious and affordable flowers delivered regularly, starting at just $29, delivery is free shipping, and there's buy now. So the specific purpose of this page and this one, and there are many different designs, these are just two that I'm showing you, is to convert people to sales. So if you can possibly manage it, try not to send them to your homepage, try and send them to a landing page. If you do have to send them to a homepage and you haven't got any choice, at least make sure, as Oasis have done, the deal is visible and easily seen from the homepage, okay? So yeah. The more keywords you can put in here, the better, and you can see I've actually got this. This is my reference from where I've got these designs from, and there are many more on unbounce.com. If you're stuck for ideas for designs, go and have a look and see what they've got, because there are some great designs on there for your landing page. Yeah, so send them to a landing page if you can. Put keywords in a landing page so that it matches the ad really well. That will mean basically you will pay less per click and you will spend your budget more effectively. And of course, once we've set up our account, chosen our keywords and created our campaign, set our budget, done our ads and sent it live, of course the last thing to do is evaluation, measure. How do we do? It's a lot of this in digital. If you're not sure where to start and you don't have a lot of information to go on, it is a bit of a suck it and see. So evaluate our campaign. So what do we want to find out? Okay, of the number of people who clicked on my ad here, my Brisbane hotel ads, of the number of times my ad was shown, how many people clicked on that ad? And of the number of people who clicked on the ad, how many people actually bought something? Because at the end of the day, this is the game we're in, is conversion, is getting people to buy something from you. And if this is shown 100,000 times and you're still only getting one conversion, then that's not good. What you would be wanting to do is to get that up. So think to yourself, look in your reporting and see how many times has my ad shown. Of that, how many people clicked on the ad and how many people then converted to a sale. This is what you want to be as high as possible, and here this depends on your keyword selection and your ad wording. This depends on what's happening in your website, your landing page, how easy it is to buy, how many people were the right people that clicked through. okay, if that makes sense. But we want to, at the end of the day, measure from the money I've spent, how many sales did I get, and that's what we call a conversion. So here's an example of a campaign report where this person has a dog chew toy as a product that he's advertising, and he's got an ad that says call now for 10% off, free shipping, www.dogtoysfordoglovers.com. So that's his ad here, and he's just looking at which keywords performed for me the best. And you can see puppy toy got 123 clicks and 65, I think, yeah, 65 conversions. So this is doing really well. It's getting, not only is it getting a lot of clicks for him, but of those clicks, it's getting 65, which is pretty good. This one, by contrast, dog chew toy keywords, is getting 93, but only 35 conversions. So although it's getting quite a lot of clicks, not so many conversions, so this one's not so good. This one is getting 53 clicks through. Squeaky Dog's Toys is getting 53 clicks, but only 14 conversions. So perhaps we need to have more search terms around puppy toy, like puppy toys. As you can see, that's not converting too badly either. New puppy toy, little puppy toy, I don't know, I'm just guessing. But more keywords around here and less keywords around here. That's the first thing to look at. How are my keywords performing? Which ones are performing well? The other thing to look at is the cost, which is here, cost per click. So this one is $27. These are quite expensive keywords, actually. This one's $27.52, so it's not too bad. It's getting 51 conversions. This one's quite expensive, but he's making sales, so it's probably worth paying the money. If there was a cheap one that was only getting 2 conversions, is it worth it? Probably not. I'd look for ones that you might pay a bit more, but your conversions are up as well. So this is an example, firstly, of a campaign report of how your keywords are performing. Have a look once you've sent your ad out there and look at the keywords that you've selected. See which ones are getting lots of clicks, which ones are costing you a lot, and which ones are converting. Because what you want is high clicks, high conversion, low cost, obviously, as low as you can get it. As a rule of thumb, as many clicks and conversions as possible for as little cost as possible. Things to track. So, for example, depending on what you're advertising, you might want them to fill in your inquiry form, bought something, booked a tour, or went to a specific page on your site. These are just some of the things that you might want to track. I suspect that most of us will be tracking bookings. Just a little aside too, if you have a booking engine in your site and people have to go to, if it's, I don't know, SiteMinder or something like that, and people have to actually leave your website, go to the SiteMinder website, and then kind of can't track them with your analytics, so they just kind of disappear into a black hole once they go to SiteMinder. One really good little trick, if you can do it, and some engines will let you, is to create what's called a thank you page, which just simply says thank you very much for booking, email confirmation will be sent to you or something like that, within your site. And so someone goes through your site, goes to your booking engine, when they've made the booking, the thank you page comes up and you can put analytics code in the thank you page. So you can track, they've gone through your site, they disappeared, but they've a thank you page has come up, so that's a booking. So just a little aside for you. And conversion tracking is obviously, as we've been saying, the other thing we want to pick. What of all the money spent and time and effort selecting keywords, writing ads, putting in budget, reporting, all that stuff, how many people actually bought something? And this is where you would find that out in the conversions column. So this one got me 12,000 clicks, 473 conversions, not too bad. This one, not so much, but still not too bad. And the other useful thing here is how much did each one cost me? Of the money I spent, I got this many sales, and it cost me this much. And this is obviously very useful information if you want to dig a little bit deeper to say how many conversions did I get, and also how much did each one cost me. So this is just some of the measurement you can do. You can also measure how successful your ads were, what average position. So this tells you whether they're appearing across the top in a search term result or down the right-hand side. 1 is higher than 2.5, so if you're getting lots of 3s, 4s, 5 or 6s, especially 6s, I'd be having a look, because it means your ad is right down the bottom and people probably aren't seeing it. So as you can see, you can check how many clicks did I get, my click-through rate, what did each click cost me, am I paying $200? No, I'm not, it's all right. Where's my ad appearing? how many conversions did I get, how much did each one cost me. So there's a bit in this for interpreting these results, but as I said very early on at the beginning, there are some great videos on the Google Business channel to explain to you how to actually understand these reports and how to make good decisions based on the data here. So I would take a little time to watch one or two of them and just get a bit of a walkthrough on your reporting and what it means and what decisions you can make from it, because obviously the more information you can get and the more you understand, the better you can get at what you're doing, and the more effective you'll be for the money and effort and time that you're spending. So, a couple of tips before we finish. Monitor your competition. So if you're just starting in AdWords and you're not sure where to start, a really good way to start is to type in your competitor's search note or perform a simple search for your product and see if they come up. Have a look at how they write their ads, have a look at their landing pages, read their copy. Can you do better than that, do you think? Or at least learn from what they're doing and perhaps get some tips from them. Obviously don't bid what you can't afford. Think about how much you can afford to spend daily. As I said right very early on, it doesn't have to be very much to start with. You can just spend, you know, $20 a week if you want to, or $200, depending on what your budget is. Don't bid what you can't afford, because then you're just wasting your money. And start with a little bit of your budget first, measure it, see how it went, and then perhaps spend a bit more on the things that are working. Check that your site is set up to convert. So have a look at your booking path or your inquiry form, or whatever redemption you have on your site that people can do. Is it easy to use, and is it clear, and can people find it? Just walk through, try and get someone who's never seen your site before, or try and look at it with fresh eyes. Imagine you've never seen it before, and think to yourself, is this easy to do? And if it's not, what can I do to make it easier? There's no point in you paying for people to click through to your site if it doesn't help the sale. So look at your landing page, your booking path, your inquiry form, is your phone number prominent, all those kind of elements that will help the sale. Try and make sure they are as easy and obvious to use as possible, so that you're not paying for clicks and then losing people when they get to your site because they get frustrated and they can't find what to do. One of the other things that you might want to think about is when you're setting up your AdWords, you can target to language and location. So many of us are probably going for the local market, kind of the Australian drive market, but you might also want to target, e.g., China, Japan, Germany, depending on your product and what you know about your customer base, or you might want to experiment with targeting US backpackers, for example. So you can run different campaigns in different countries. Google allows you to set all this up when you're doing your ad campaign, and different language settings as well. So think to yourself, where is your market and who do I want to reach? Remember when we had a look early on at Google Trends, and it gave us, I just set it for Australia, it gave us what states of Australia people were searching on. You could do that worldwide and you might be surprised at some of the results. So consider, if this is relevant to you, targeting location and language. And also I would be targeting devices, and by devices I mean what hardware people are using to find, to search on. So are they sitting at their desk searching on a desktop or a laptop, or at home or at work? Are they on a mobile, on a phone or a tablet with a browser? Or are they, on a tablet with a full browser? So your Google Analytics will tell you, if it's related to your site, what devices people are coming to your site on, and that can be a good place to start. As I said earlier, think about, try and find out what people are visiting your site on, because that will give you an idea of your market. If it is only mobile phones, for example, then you might want to just tick mobile phones in the option box when you're setting up your account, and also perhaps add some location and phone number extensions. If it is desktop and laptop, then you might not want to bother with that and just run a straight ad. If it's all of them, then tick all of them and see how you go. But these are just some tips. If you're already set up and going through Google AdWords, here are some of the things to think about so that you can improve. Couple more tips. Rotate your ads. Negative keywords I haven't really talked about very much, but basically they filter out searches. So you might want to have as your keyword free, because obviously you're not selling free accommodation, and you want to filter out people that are doing like free or cheap accommodation if you're more of a luxury 5-star offering. Or if your brand term or your search term is what we call a semantic term. So I did a campaign once for a company that had a product called product for a syndrome called flathead syndrome, but obviously there's flathead fish, there's flathead screwdrivers, there's a lake called Flathead Lake in Tennessee or something. So we took all of those out as negative keywords. We nominated them as negative keywords so that we'd get the most qualified traffic possible. Turn off ads when you're closed. So if you close, and I presume we do, at 11 at night or 10 at night, whenever you do, or if you're, for example, Pizza Hut does this, they don't show ads when they're closed. So Pizza Hut closes 11 at night. They make sure the ads don't show until they open again in the morning. So that's another little tip. That way you're not chewing up your budget when people can't buy. The other thing to think about is sometimes it's very hard to get up the top here because you're competing with such massive companies like Booking.com, like What If, who have enormous budgets. And so sometimes, no matter what you do, it's very difficult to compete. Up here it's not impossible, but you can see here we've got Orbost, 2 Chains and What If. So perhaps, and again, this is a business decision for you, but sometimes it's easier to go into a directory or use one of these channels where you know that they will come up anyway, rather than trying to spend lots of money and time and effort competing when you really can't. So that's just a little tip. Have a look at who's coming up, have a look at your channel strategy and your budget, and think to yourself, do I want to do that as well or instead of an AdWords campaign? But again, up to you as a business decision. And just before we finish, a lot of people ask me, should I just go with an agency for AdWords because it's easier? Of course you can do that. And here are just some pros and cons of going with an agency versus doing it yourself. Obviously the agency are the experts. They're the people that are on it all the time. They do nothing but select keywords, write ads, track them, try and make them better. They keep their knowledge current. They have to, because Google changes a lot of digital things change a lot, and agencies have to be on the front of that and understanding what these changes mean. So they spend a lot of time and effort updating their knowledge. That's something else to consider. However, there are fees, obviously, and many of them have minimum charges. So obviously it's going to cost you more going with an agency than doing it yourself. If they offer guarantees, e.g. page 1, on Google, no problem. I would ask them for which keywords, because guarantees are very hard in AdWords. And if they're offering paying on movement, for example, we will move you from number 6 to number 1, make sure they specify the numbers, not just we'll pay if you move up, that sort of thing. So I would ask them what their knowledge is, how much their fees and charges are, how they keep the knowledge current, any case studies, any other clients if you think you're going with an agency, and just find out if they really do know what they're talking about. For yourself, obviously there's lower or there's no cost, it's just your time and effort. You will have to keep up with changes in AdWords yourself though, so you need to decide if you're prepared to do that. You do need a level of skill. You don't need to be an expert or anything, but you will need to get some skills up, and it's not difficult, but you need experience and judgment basically. The more experience you get, the more you do this stuff, the better judgments you'll be able to make. And it is a bit of a numbers game, AdWords, so if you're excited by putting numbers down, you know, looking at how many searches, looking at how much it costs, that sort of thing, tracking it and doing conversion percentages and all that sort of stuff, then you'll probably enjoy it. But if you're not so interested in that sort of thing and tracking conversion numbers, that sort of thing, then perhaps it might be better to go with someone else that is. But these are just all considerations for you to think about. You know, you're going to do it yourself for low cost. Have you got the interest? Are you prepared to put the time in? Because it does take a bit of time to track everything and evaluate everything and turn things on and off and create new words and select keywords. If you're interested in that, then you might want to go for it. If not, and you can afford it, then you might want to go with an agency. Just some pros and cons. Some questions, as I said, to ask your agency: what is their track record? What's their expertise? Have they got any past clients that you might want to talk to? How much experience have they got? How much will it cost you? Do you just pay a flat fee, or is it a percentage, or both? And do they offer any guarantees? And that's about it. Those are the steps in AdWords. Set up your account, choose your keywords, campaign, budget and ads, run your campaign, evaluate it, rinse and repeat. Thanks everyone. That kind of concludes the webinar for today. I just wanted to tell you also about some other resources you have for AdWords and anything else digital. If you need more information, we have on the TEQ website webinars and e-kits on online booking, yield management, the Wiz, the Big Marketing Guide, the TQ Resource Guide, the Better Business Guide. There's a whole host of information on here to help you with your marketing, both digital and otherwise. So do refer to it if you have time and if you're interested and need more help. Digital Ready has, as you know, probably workshops. We have one-on-one mentoring sessions, and we have a phone or email coaching service. You can get hold of us anytime if you have a specific problem. Do feel free. Most of the workshops and mentoring are booked through your destination specialist, but our coaching service, you can just get hold of us at any time. Here's our number. Look, there's me, Susan and Mirko. We're the digital coaches here at TEQ. If you want to get hold of us, here's our phone number. Feel free to give us a call anytime or send us an email. And here is the Digital Ready website if you need more information on the things that we do. This webinar recording will also be up on the Digital Ready website hopefully this afternoon, or if not then certainly next week. So if you want to refer to this webinar again, you can. Thanks everyone. That concludes our webinar for today. Thanks for staying with me. If you have any questions, we've got a little bit of time. I'm happy to take them now. If not, thanks a lot, and I'll hopefully see you at the next one. Thanks everyone.